On January 20th, 2025, DeepSeek dropped and the world went crazy.
Chinese research lab called DeepSeek.
So there's been a ton of hype around this new AI tool, but the big question I want to know is how good is DeepSeek really, especially when it comes to writing? So I've decided to put it through a bunch of tests, comparing DeepSeek with ChatGPT side by side with the exact same prompts to see which one is the true king of writing. But just before we get started, I want to start by explaining what I'm actually looking for in a great AI writing tool. So right now I'm a YouTube scriptwriter and I've helped some of the biggest creators on the platform generate millions of views for their videos. So when it comes to finding an AI writing tool that can help me grab attention and write viral scripts, there's three specific things that I'm actually looking for. Number one is viral ideas. I want to know how good the AI tool is at coming up with new and unique content ideas for my videos. Number two is hooks. Can the AI write hooks that are specific, relatable, and that actually grab attention? And finally, body text. Can the AI write long form content that's easy to understand, that's well structured, and that doesn't sound like a robot? Now there's a bunch of other things that we could compare, but in my opinion, these are the most important. So to get started, what I want to do is put ChatGPT through each three of these tests so that we form a base and we can easily compare it with DeepSeek. And the first test is viral idea generation. I want to see how good ChatGPT is at coming up with unique ideas based off this trending video. Now, just a disclaimer, if you know anything about AI writing tools, you already know that, giving them context before you put your prompt in really helps to improve the outputs. But for this video, I want to test the raw power of both ChatGPT and DeepSeek. So I'm not going to give them much context. I'm just going to create a prompt and see how they perform. Alrighty, so I'm in ChatGPT and I'm going to give it this prompt. Okay, so all of these are pretty good, to be honest, considering I haven't given ChatGPT much context about what actually makes a great video idea. These are not too bad. But to be honest, the video was more about how to get abs. That was kind of the core idea. So titles like I ate like a pro athlete for 60 days. That's a great idea, but it kind of misses the mark of, what the whole trending video was based on. So in fact, the only idea that's kind of similar to the trending video is option 3. So in terms of viral videos, ChatGPT performed okay here. But the big question is how is ChatGPT going to compare with DeepSeek? We're going to get to that in a moment, but first, let's put ChatGPT through the next test, which is writing viral hooks. Now, when it comes to writing online, whether that be for a YouTube video, whether that be for an Instagram reel or a TikTok video, your hook is one of the most important parts. And the reason is, if you can't grab their attention in that first 3 to 5 seconds, then chances are they're not going to watch the rest of your video. So this was one of the most critical tests to see which AI was the better writing tool. Okay, so here's the prompt I've come up with to test ChatGPT's hook writing abilities. And basically what I've done is I've taken title 3 from our last test. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write a hook based on this title. So let's see how it does. So some of these are actually pretty good. Could you use this straight away in, let's say YouTube video? Probably not, but the angle is there. Like for example, I really like the transformation hook. It teases a transformation that we know this audience wants. It also gives a specific time frame of how long it took to achieve the result, and it also gives teases a simple breakdown of how to actually get there. So with a little tweaking, you could actually turn this into a pretty good hook, which to be honest kind of makes me a little nervous because I'd actually like to see DeepSeek whoop the pants off ChatGPT. But even with little to no context, ChatGPT is spitting out some really great answers. Now, just before we get into the comparison with DeepSeek, there is one last test that I want to put ChatGPT through, which could make or break the results, and that's how it writes body text. So the reason I want to test body text is because I want to see how good ChatGPT is at performing research and then turning that into either a story or topic point. This is a critical part of all online writing, so if it can nail this, then it has a good chance of winning. So here's the prompt that I've come up with, and let's see how it goes. All right, so this is pretty crazy. I'm actually super surprised at how well ChatGPT's written this, even without any context at all. Like I said with the hooks though, we do need to make a few tweaks. I wouldn't actually just go and use this straight away, but this is a great rough draft of a body section that I could actually use in my scripts. But now it's time to compare it with DeepSeek. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same prompts that I just put into ChatGPT and compare them side by side and see who is actually the king of writing. All right, so I'm in DeepSeek and I'm going to be using their DeepThink R1 model. I'm using the same trending video from what I gave to ChatGPT and the exact same prompt. So let's see how it goes. So what's kind of cool about DeepSeek is the fact that it shows you what it's thinking. So it kind of goes through its thought process of how it came up with the output. But as you can see, DeepSeek has kind of misunderstood my prompt. For some reason, we're getting a bunch of random ideas here. Maybe I could have been a bit more clear with the prompt to make sure it's about fitness, but I'm just going to give it a little help so that we actually get some better results. Okay, so even with a little help, it's kind of not really staying on target with our trending video idea, but ChatGPT did kind of do the same thing. There is some good ideas in here, like I don't mind the forgotten athlete exercise angle, but I think by far the best one is the shred 10% body fat in 45 days. All right, so both ChatGPT and DeepSeek have kind of come up with very similar video ideas, so I'd say this is a tie, but here's where things get really exciting. Let's see if DeepSeek can beat ChatGPT in hook writing. Okay, so to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of these. They kind of sound like something I'd use for like a Facebook ad or something like that. They're not really conversational hooks that I'd use for a YouTube video, which is what I put into the prompt. So for this test, I'm going to have to give this one to ChatGPT, but we are still neck and neck. DeepSeek still has one last chance to win. So what I'm going to do is take hook 3 from our last test and test how good DeepSeek is at writing body text. Okay, so one thing I really like about DeepSeek's answer here is just how specific it is, which, if you know anything about writing, you know how important being specific is. But to be honest, I feel like it's a little too specific. For example, when it says, when I kept my heart rate between 120 to 140 beats per minute, that's zone 2. I burned 50% more fat than when I pushed harder. Why? At this sweet spot, blah, 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 blah. I feel like it's just kind of crammed way too much information. So it's kind of hard to follow exactly what it's trying to explain. And when we compare it to ChatGPT's output, it doesn't flow nearly as smoothly. ChatGPT's text is just way easier to understand because, as you can see, it's just structured better. It kind of logically follows a simple structure, so it's easy to follow. And DeepSeek's is kind of just confusing, to be honest. So after all 3 tests, it's time to make the final call. So the first test was to test how good they were at coming up with viral ideas. And I gave them both a tie for this because, ChatGPT kind of missed the mark with, generating ideas from the core idea of the trending video we gave it, and so did DeepSeek. I even had to give DeepSeek a little bit more clarification, but all around, both kind of produced pretty good video ideas. The next was hooks. I found ChatGPT's to be pretty smooth, conversational, and I felt I could take one of them and actually turn it into a hook that I could use for a YouTube video or something like that. Where DeepSeek's, kind of missed the mark with hooks. They were way too structured. I potentially could have used it for a Facebook ad, but obviously we gave it a prompt to create a YouTube video, so it kind of missed a mark there. And then finally, we had long form body text. Now, DeepSeek performed great research, but it was just way too specific. It was hard to understand. It was too clunky. So didn't really perform that great there, where ChatGPT, super smooth, well structured, would only take 10 to 15 minutes of editing, and I could potentially use that for a body section of one of my YouTube videos. So who was the winner in the end? Well, I think it was pretty clear. ChatGPT is the king of writing, but only for this test. The truth is, I don't actually use ChatGPT or DeepSeek to write my YouTube scripts. I actually found a much more powerful tool that I reveal in my free YouTube script writing tutorial. So if you want to find out what it is, then watch this video next.